I was rejected at the age of 3 by my dad, and that meant that I was going to stay with my mom. And life in the slums is not an easy life. I started working when I was 8 years old to be able to buy myself something to eat and also to be able to clothe myself. So growing up in a slum is not something easy. Life in slums is devastating. Sanitation is poor, the medication is very expensive, and somehow I thank God because I've been able to at least move from that somehow, and getting into the project has really changed my life.
The project is basically set up to find social entrepreneurs who we believe that can in the future be change makers and create change in the society. So it's also mainly focused on developing young people's passion and talents through engagement with them.
In that young people here in Uganda, often their talents, their gifts and talents are not nurtured as a caterpillar would be nurtured. And our centre is called the Chrysalis Centre. The caterpillars come to the Chrysalis Centre and they become butterflies. And we feel over time, we're a small project, but our project has impact in communities. And we feel, just like the butterfly effect, we can make small impacts in our communities, but those effects are felt much more widely throughout Uganda. There are some key areas that we do focus on. Certainly problem solving is a very important one. Leadership skills, ICT, we start right from the beginning teaching about email and the use of social media, that kind of thing. We also teach ethics. It's one of those interesting areas where we feel it's part of being an instrument of change is to be an ethical individual, because that means others will look up to you and follow you, so that's another area. But we also extend that into things like business ethics, and there are other areas that we try to do is things like talent development. So if they have a specific talent, we try to nurture, foster that talent in some way. Activism is another area that we cover, and international citizenship. So that involves learning about other countries and the sorts of different cultures that they have and how Uganda fits into the global situation.
This project has changed their way of thinking, because with the project here we teach them like how to be selfless. That is our main concern, because if you're going to be a person helpful to the community, you can't think about yourself only. You find that the kids are working together as a team instead of one person like doing all the work alone. This one comes in and helps. So I see they're beginning to look at life in a different way compared to the way they used to be before.
We have two distinct groups that we work with. One is remote village areas in Uganda, but secondly, when we first came to Kampala, we met a lot of young people in slum areas who were clearly very talented. They wanted to do something, and so we picked those for our group as well. The reason we choose these groups is because we feel that social entrepreneurs who have experienced hard times can make more effective social entrepreneurs. That's a generalization, but we feel that that's certainly true. If you've experienced hardship, you feel like you want to combat that. We are expecting them to be role models, we're teaching them to be leaders, we're expecting them to run new projects of their own all the time.
I'm Marumasi and I'm 16 years old, and my project is called Advice for Change.
My name is Amochola Kenneth. I come from Acholi Quarter and 15 years old. I joined the Butterfly Project in 2010. And my project is Acholi Quarter Youth News. The project is about giving information to the youth.
My name is Laniero Dorothy from the northern part of Uganda. My project is traditional dance, and in my community I want to start working with young kids and to teach them how to dance traditional dance.
My project derives from my passion, which is football. So I handle a Cheband of football project. Cheband is basically a place that I live in, and it's a community.
I was so interested in music, dance and drama, so I decided to start up a project called Arise Music Project. It's about children who are talented in music, dance and drama. So we compose our own songs. We act about the problems affecting the community, because in slums there is child abuse, there is child labor. So we sing about these old problems, and then we sing about the solutions. We tell the leaders what they can do about it, even the individuals around the community.
I'm Francis, and my project is called Slum Run, and this project is based in Acholi Kota, where people came from northern Uganda just because of the war, so they came running from Koni. Acholi Kota is a slum area and based in Kampala, and well, it has about, let me say, 5,000 people. It's very congested, and people are there, they don't have houses, toilets, sanitation. It's just too bad living there. So when they reached in Acholi Kota, they didn't have permanent jobs, they didn't have shelter, so they decided to find themselves what to do to earn a living. So they ended up going into the stone quarry to scratch stones and get money, sell the stones and get money. And actually what moved me, it's because young kids also were working in the stone quarry, so that one kind of got into me, and I felt I needed to do something. So I started up the Slum Run. The Slum Run is all about helping these kids, to let them know their rights, to also make them feel like other kids, take them to school. At the beginning we sponsored about 30, then last year we had about 50 children, and we managed to fundraise. We got the funds and we managed to take them back to school, and when we give them the money, we tell them not to work in the stone quarry again.
One thing which we feel is really very important strategically, and that is that young people in Uganda, in Africa, they are an enormously important asset, and they are the key to this type of change that people want to see. I don't feel at the moment that people around the world value them enough. We talk about sponsorship and then we say, well, I'm going to pay £10 a month to sponsor a child at school, whereas at the same time in the UK, one child is sponsored for £10,000 a year by the government. So in comparison, we're not really taking things seriously. These young people deserve serious, and they are just as talented as any other children around the world, so they deserve equal support. And because they have this passion for change, they're the ones perhaps we should even prioritize in the future, because we'd like to see a very special Africa which we can learn from the rest of the world, rather than simply say, well, it works in London, let's use it here in Kampala.